Hey guys, welcome back to another video today. I'm going to be taking a look at a Mythic Legions figure. This guy's name is Thorasis the First Risen. He was released as a part of the All-Stars 6 wave, so a little bit ago. I don't think it's too new, but as you can see, he just looks awesome. He's got soft goods, he's got a nice cloak, he's got a little bit of fur up here, faux fur. He's a skeleton who's tattered and worn. He's got this awesome shield. He's got a nice, goatee going in there. He's got his helmet on. He's got armor bits with skeleton intertwined, and it just looks awesome. And this sword is massive. I mean, like, easily almost the length of the figure. So I don't know how he's going to carry that, but he carries it great in his hand. And like I said, you can see those little bits of bone peek through on his armor or his tunic. So here we go. Now we can take a closer look at the figure. And like I said, you could see the bone peeking through the tunic and the bone mixed in throughout where there's armor bits or non-armor bits. So really cool figure. To me, it just stuck out as like a nice art piece, nice display piece, just because of how good it looked. So I'm just going to quickly go over the articulation and the deco kind of at the same time. Bear with me, I haven't reviewed one of these figures before. I'm used to just Star Wars, so I'm going to do my absolute best. Actually, I think I'm going to split it up and go with deco first. You're not going to notice a whole lot of issues on this figure where paint apps are missing or overlaid. So when you get one of these figures, they are going to be worth the $50 price tag because they are going to be flawless. You have this nice metallic look to the armor, and you can see just by the way it's painted and the way it shines in this light that I have, it looks pretty real. But it's all a soft plastic and it's not going to break when you're moving it. It's not going to break. If this guy falls off the shelf, he's not breaking. And I think that that's really good. They nailed the perfect, combo for that. Where some figures, they do a really hard plastic, it takes a tumble off the shelf, it cracks. You're not going to have that problem with this guy. So you can put him on your top shelf, and I would say he's definitely a top shelf figure. You can see the nice wash on the bone. I didn't add that. That just came straight out of the box. You could see it in the hands. And so that's always good to see because sometimes they'll just give you a plain skeleton. Maybe they'll do like a light wash on it, but it needs a good dark wash, good brown, good, maybe a little bit of a hint of red in there. And you can just see the silhouette on the face looks so good, especially in this lighting where his eyes are just, you could tell that they're hollow. One of the cool things about the tunic too is it also has a bit of weather, and you can see it's kind of dirty. It's not clean, and that was one thing that drew my attention to it because I didn't have to do it. That's the best part about it. Part of the deco, I guess, will be this cloak, which is wired. So if you want to put it in like a pose where it's kind of blowing in the wind, you could set it up and do that. Takes some doing, but it's not really that hard. So just have fun with it, I would say. Now, these, while we're on the back of the figure, armor bits, they pop in through the tunic. There's two holes right here where they're at, and they also kind of secure this, which is nice. And then they also are a pain in the ass to get in there. So I would say use a blow dryer on the joint itself on the back of the skeleton. Just be careful of fabric. I didn't. You're able to get them in there without it. It takes some force. Your thumbs are going to hurt, but you can do it without it if you need to. It also has this little fake fur up here. And then you have the belt. The belt looks awesome. There's nothing overlaid, and there's quite a few colors in here. And this leather does look real, which is really cool. There's very few things that I have had action figure wise where the leather actually looks like leather. So, because this is medieval, it has to have that look to it, and it looks great, and I love it. Then the armor bits carrying down. You can see that there's bone under here, and then there's also the pieces of armor. They have that same metallic shine that they have all throughout, which is nice. Nice to keep it uniform. Part of the tunic, I'm sorry, not part of the tunic, part of the cape is, it has a chain here. It doesn't really do anything, but it looks really cool. So definitely something to make note of. Now to the articulation, go from the head. His mouth does open and close, which is really cool. I kind of like him with this like half open look. And then he's got his goatee going on here. Another thing that just drew me into him because he just looked so cool. Yeah, he had a nice silhouette on the shelf at the show, which is why I wanted to get him. And then you have this like orangish yellow for his tunic. Now, articulation wise, which is what I was going over, these do articulate, as you can see. They go up and down, so they move with the arms. So if you need to raise his arm up, you can get them pretty high. You can get them up to a T-pose if you really want to push it. They're going to go, which is awesome. Now, without the armor bit on, his arm will spin. With it on, you're not going to be able to get it up as high. But like I said, you can see it moves out of the way, and you can still get it up, which is nice. We have a nice 90-degree bend at the elbow. And then the wrist has a different swivel joint dependent on what hand it is. So there is an in and out motion and an up and down motion depending on the hand, which is cool. I wish more toy companies would actually do this because it would just work out so much better. I know it's probably cost more, but there's quite a few companies that I could think of that it would really benefit them. Now, you're probably thinking this armored side doesn't bend as far as the bone side. Nope, bends just the same, which is really nice. You are probably going to have more of an issue on this side raising it up, but as you can see, it still works and still looks good. It's just because there's more to this arm than there is the other one. I also wanted to note the details of like the chainmail hanging out of the shoulders on both sides. Another cool detail. Now, like I said, the hands move in and out or up and down. Both of these ones that I have go up and down. There's another set that I'll get to when I review the accessories real quick that have the in and out motion. We have a soft plastic part. This isn't fabric. I kind of wish that this was, but they blend this so well that it doesn't bother me that that isn't, because you almost don't notice it. With the articulation, because we have soft goods, we can get a kick up really high. So, like, soft good figures are my favorite, just because of that. Now, the knee, this is a single joint, and he can get back pretty far. Now, we are just working with bone from the skeleton, but I mean, the articulation is awesome on these always. Just a simple up and down for the foot. We also have a bit of rock left and right, but you're not going to get too much of a range of motion, just enough that you need. Now, the cool thing, so we don't have swappable hands with armor, but when I get to the accessories, as you can see, there's a foot in there. So if you really wanted to, you can have feet. I was thinking, because this side is so armored, I might swap this foot out for the bone foot, just to kind of give him more of a unique look, I guess. But he looks good already, so I'm digging this look for now. That's the cool thing about these guys, is you can always swap them out and change it whenever you want. We'll go over some of the accessories. We have this awesome looking shield. I have no idea what this skull is supposed to be, or the thing behind it, but it just looks awesome. Like, these are like spider legs, then there's the skull, then there's this like weird vertebrae. I mean, this thing is awesome looking. Detail wise, looks great. It's nice gold with a dark purple, and it's got like fractured bits in there, you can see, so it's like battle worn. And then the weathering and the dry brush, like everything on here is so cool looking, and he holds this great. This piece does pop off and spin, so if you want him to hold it a specific way, you can. I have it upside down because I felt that worked the best for him holding it. I think this is what this is meant for. I'm not 100% sure, but it's like a flagpole, so he can hold this if he wants. I may pose him with this, I may not. This does have a wire in it also, so if you wanted to have this blow in the wind, make a stop motion of it blowing in the wind, you could totally do that. It also has the same symbol that is on his shield printed on there, which is really cool. So it's on both sides, and it's also like a faded purple color. And his sword is unique because it is almost as tall as him. I don't know what this like is here, but his sword is really cool. You can see the gold details. I kind of wish that this symbol was on here somewhere, so it would have been cool if it was like on one of these sides or both, but it's not terrible. It's got like a little black wash to it, but this is a bit more flimsy, so just be careful and make note of that. But you can see it still shines great in the light. It definitely still looks like a sword, but like I said, not too much to it. Now for the accessories here, they give you a little bag, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And if not, you're going to need a little bag because you got a lot of accessories to deal with. So this piece would go on top of here, I believe, or at the bottom. I think it goes, yeah. So it would sit here at the bottom. So I don't know. Now you can't see the flag in the frame. And I don't know if that is like to be a weapon, if that can just poke into the ground. My medieval weapon knowledge is not the best, but it pops off. This could also just be used as a spear. That's what I originally thought it was. We have a satchel that can hold the sword if you want it to. So you could put the sword through here. But that's where you're going to run into. Never mind. And then you can put the sword through here. That could be held on his back. Just due to the length of the sword, I think that this would probably work better. The issue that I have is I really like the cape, so this is just going to go through the side here, which I'll do. I don't ever know what these are or what they're for. So this is like my third Mythic Legions figure. And I have these. I just don't know what they're for. I never even like looked into it. But they're there, whatever they are. We have a claw, which I think this could go onto here. Matter of fact, it does go onto here. So you can have this grip to his wrist instead of him holding it. So either or works. I actually might try this out because I think this will work a lot better. You have this piece. Don't know what this piece is for either. These may be accessory things to kind of go with other figures. We have another very thin belt. Not 100% sure what this goes to. There wasn't a whole lot of pictures on the website for this. And I didn't see where it was. But that's also there. And then we got all the different hands. So here's where I was talking about. These ones move in and out versus the ones that are on him that move up and down. So you have almost the same, but you can see that they're slightly different fist hands. And then we have a set of open hands. Here's the other two from the first two that I had. These pieces, which would slot into where the ankles are, I'm pretty sure. But I think that they're just extra because they're already in the foot here itself. And then we have the feet. So if you wanted to swap those out, you could, which is really cool. I love that feature. But that's pretty much the accessories. I'm going to put the sword through the side here so that everybody can see what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, it fits and it doesn't touch the ground, which is great. So if you wanted to have him with that, you could. Now, one thing that I did is I put this cuff on, and I don't know if that's needed to put this on, but it definitely probably help keep it more secure. And I bet you that's what that cuff is for. So now his shield is on. Yeah, that looks way better than him holding it. Definitely do that way. All right, and here's Thorasis back in the original pose that I had. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little review. Like I said, first Mythic Legions figure I'm reviewing, so bear with me. We'll try to do more research, but I do love this line. I don't collect it all too often. It was just kind of one of those things where I picked it up. I think, like I said, this is my third figure. I have 2 Cosmic Legions and I think 3 Mythic Legions. They're all the same thing under the 4 Horsemen, but they're slightly different in their own way. But if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more.